So what if you could take an ancient faith and completely reimagine it for the modern world? Well, we're about to explore the life of a man who did exactly that. His name was Hsing Yun, which means star and cloud, and his story, well, it's about transforming Buddhism from the ground up.
I will be a monk in my next life too. Now think about that for a second. This wasn't just some casual wish. It was a powerful, profound statement of purpose. For Master Hsing Yun, a single lifetime just wasn't going to be enough. And that conviction, that drive, it shaped every single day of his 97 years.
And his life spanned almost a century of just incredible, dramatic change. Born in China back in 1927, he had to flee a civil war in 49, went on to found a global movement in 67, and left a truly indelible mark by the time he passed in 2023. This is the amazing journey we're about to dive into.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break down his story. First, we'll look at his early life as a child of war. Then, his revolutionary vision for a modern Buddhism. After that, the 4 pillars he used to build a global institution. And finally, we'll talk about the legacy that continues to grow today. All right, let's start at the beginning. Part 1, a child of war. See, to really understand the man, you have to get a picture of the world that shaped him. It was a time of chaos, of loss, but it's exactly where his vision for a better world first took root. And this was the turning point. Imagine being 12 years old, searching for your father who was lost in the Sino-Japanese War. In the middle of all that, Hsing Yun has this chance encounter with a monk. And right there and then, he makes a decision that would define the next 85 years of his life. He decided to join the monastery. He even chose his own monastic name, Hsing Yun, which means star and cloud. Apparently, he saw the word for nebula in a dictionary and was just captivated by it. And you can see why, right? It perfectly captured his vision, something vast, boundless, and ancient, something meant to illuminate the whole world. Which brings us to part 2, Buddhism for the modern world. This is really the revolutionary idea at the absolute core of his work. How do you reimagine an ancient faith for our busy, contemporary lives? And this wasn't just some academic question for him. This was the problem he dedicated his entire life to solving. How could this ancient wisdom actually help people navigate the stresses and pressures of the modern world we all live in? His answer was Humanistic Buddhism. The idea was honestly a game changer. It was all about bringing Buddhism out of these remote, secluded monasteries and putting it right into the middle of the everyday world. So instead of focusing only on personal enlightenment way off in the future, the goal became serving society and building a better world, right here, right now. And you can really see the difference here. Traditional practice often focused inward, on seclusion, on personal liberation. Humanistic Buddhism looked outward. It emphasized social engagement, with this big collective goal, to build what's called a pure land. Basically, a better, more compassionate society, right here on Earth. All right, part 3, the 4 pillars of action. So you've got this incredible philosophy, but how do you actually turn that into a global reality? Well, he built his entire organization on 4 clear, actionable pillars. And here they are, the 4 objectives of Guang Shan, the organization he founded. They're designed to work together, like a complete system. You use culture to share the teachings, education to develop talent, charity to serve society, and then spiritual practice to ground the whole thing. It's a complete blueprint for putting his vision into practice. And his commitment to that first pillar, culture, was just staggering. I mean, look at his writing alone. The latest edition of his collected works contains over 40 million Chinese characters. He was a writer, a teacher, a communicator on an absolutely epic scale. And he fully embraced a modern approach to spreading the message. He didn't just write books, no way. He founded a daily newspaper, a television station, publishing houses, and a global network of art galleries. He used every single medium he could to get his ideas out there. His pillar of charity, just as active. Whenever disaster struck, his organizations were on the ground, from massive earthquakes in Taiwan and Sichuan to providing spiritual support in New York after 9/11, all the way to mobilizing aid during the global pandemic. The focus was always on tangible, compassionate action. And all of this leads us to his final, and maybe his greatest achievement, a legacy that not only survives him, but continues to grow and shine all across the world.
The scale of his legacy is just immense. We're talking over 300 temples and centers spread across 5 continents. But you have to understand, these weren't just buildings. They were designed to be hubs for culture, education, and community all over the world. And each center was set up with a clear purpose, which you can often see right in its name. His Saleh Temple in the United States literally means the Dharma coming to the West. I mean, that's a clear signal of his mission to bridge Eastern philosophy with Western society. And it's the same idea down in Australia. Nan Tien Temple means Southern Paradise, built to be this spiritual oasis in the Southern Hemisphere. Every single name tells a part of his global story. But what's really crucial, and what made his philosophy so powerful, is that he made it accessible to everyone, not just monks or scholars. He boiled it down into these simple, beautiful principles, like the 3 acts of goodness. It's a guide for living that anyone can follow. Do good deeds, say good words, and think good thoughts. Simple, right? But so powerful. He also taught the 4 givings, which is like a guide for how we interact with the world around us. The goal is simple. In everything you do, try to give others confidence, give them joy, give them hope, and give them convenience. It basically transforms every little interaction you have into a chance for positive action. He was always looking for new ways to connect with people. He composed these hymns that turned ancient chants into modern music, and he updated old traditional rituals to make them feel meaningful for today's world. His focus was always on breaking down barriers to understanding. And this quote, this really just sums it all up. He believed that for Buddhism to even have a future, it needed to be united in its purpose. And for him, that purpose was crystal clear: to actively serve society, to use its collective power for the good of all people. So all this leaves us with a final thought. Master Hsing Yun's life is just this incredible testament to the power of a single, focused vision. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What makes an idea so powerful that it can outlive its creator and just keep on illuminating the world like a star in a cloud?